Oh, if everybody's here and ready to go, we can do our recap and then hopes and dreams and then get going.
Cool. Okay, so last session started off kind of with a bunch of zombie wolves coming after us at camp before we could have our talks about the next steps. So we dealt with that pretty swiftly. No problems really too much anyway. And then we spent a good amount of time discussing with the stunties about what we're going to do about this whole looking for the same treasure perhaps thing that was going on in this area. Uh, After a bunch of politicking went on, it was decided that we would help each other out, and they would get our information, which we found out after that they had pretty much none, so that's good for them. And we would let them have like some first grabs on some stuff as long as we made sure that we got what we needed for Spira and everything was kosher. So we headed off and um, we headed off doing that. Got attacked while climbing a very steep and icy mountain by a bunch of bullets that ended up taking their prisoner, Valenius, away in its mouth. And I mean, I'm assuming he's dead. He's probably dead. So he's dead somewhere, for all intents and purposes. We were able to clear out the rest of the problem, the other three bullets, and continue heading up, as it were, until we got to the peak, or at least a cliff edge, if it wasn't the peak proper, where we found what seemed to be like an old watchtower of sorts, or like a building in the side overlooking the land down below in the cliffside there. And I will let Hank take it from there.
Yeah, so in that cliffside place, there was a giant nest that turned out to belong to the giant bird we had seen flying around dropping Bulette corpses. Um, an arclight phoenix. So as we
Well, it
got
used it
closer,
used the icon of one, but it wasn't one.
yeah, okay, I don't know what it was. It was Big Bird, but not Big Bird. He doesn't fly. Uh, so we fought that big bird. It had a bunch of it created storms and radiation, and it eventually ended up grabbing Egg and trying to fly off the cliff with him. But Isaac jumped onto its foot, and everyone kind of made their last attempts to down it. But then it was Egg attacking from inside the grip that finally took it down. And then he and Isaac were going to tumble off the cliff as the bird's momentum carried them forward, but he managed to hold on and save an unconscious Isaac. Um, so then we sort of cleared off the area, and we saw that there was like this bowl area with the with a pedestal and we ended up putting the blood of the prince into that, which then sort of shook the land and revealed the tomb and a bunch of other stuff as the earth sort of changed and opened up. And I'll pass it off from there.
Hearing out with a spyglass, it seemed like the structure that was revealed was what we were looking for. We start making our way back down the cliff face, only to be mysteriously drawn to a cavern that wasn't there before. To Isaac's protest, the group decided to venture in to the cave to discover some long forgotten bodies laying around. Udnar pushing forward found a body that was different from the others, and upon trying to investigate it further, awoke whatever revenant still inhabited this plane and decided to attack the group. After a near TPK there, made it out by the skin of our teeth with very much feast or famine dice rolls. And discovering a couple of magical items off the body that we have yet to identify. Worn and ragged, we head outside, and Shivers is there waiting for us and lets us know that there's some trouble regarding the temple, and we make our way down there.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so upon reaching the tomb that had arisen from the ground after pouring elf blood from the prince upon the altar atop the cliff, we found that it was more like a gate or a very intricate door with lots of carved icons and symbols and scary runes and things. And whenever you touched it, it gave you a warning to turn back, lest the world be doomed for your own greed. And that if you did not attempt to enter the tomb, it would return to the earth. So the stunties pointed out that since they had gotten there, maybe only about 10 to 15 minutes ahead of us, the runes, which were glowing red on the archways of the door, were fading along one side, like a countdown timer, if you will, or an egg timer. And so we know we have a finite amount of time to potentially enter the tomb, but we don't know how to do it per se because they didn't just go in without us. Anything that we should touch on before that, just in a little bit more detail, was we received 5 magic items from the boss in the cave, including, well, not including, but we also got a tome or a book that says the musings of Dietrich the Deathless, though we're not 100% sure whether or not the guy in the cave was Dietrich the Deathless or not. We'll have to read the book to find out a little bit more. So I guess where we're starting is outside the potential gates of the tomb of the Twice King. Dun dun dun.
Did you say Trice King?
Twice King.
Let's not add
Would
one
be
more king on
thrice.
top of it.
Once, twice, thrice.
All right. Well, for your colorful explanation and recap, you can have inspiration.
Woo!
Nice. We're gonna need it.
Yeah! Put my little doodad on. Okay, so I guess now I just gonna roll right into expectations. I expect that we are just gonna throw ourselves headlong into these doors and get right on into that tomb and go big or go home. Hopefully the stunties can kind of help us out a little bit in the tomb, just kind of strengthen numbers, but we don't really know what to expect as far as what would be inside, as far as obstacles or monsters, so we're just gonna wing it. And I expect a good amount of dungeon crawling this time. So I'll pass it off to Stan.
Whose name we don't typically say
Is
when
Rumble.
streaming.
Well, we called Homer Egg, or pardon me, Hank. So I
Right.
figured it was
No.
time.
It
Anyway.
was time.
It is time.
My expectation is that there's some puzzle to the door, and we're gonna get stuck there for like an hour of like real life time.
I did explicitly give you all a week to kind of discuss and figure out how to open it out of the game.
Doesn't mean we're making any headway in that regard, though.
Sure, sure.
We don't know a lot, and it's part of our charm. But I'm assuming, considering our past two encounters kind of left us worn and ragged, we are going to have a very tough crawl through, and I think we're going to need to play a lot
Smart.
smarter than we typically do, and maybe not rush head first, but maybe play things out a little more tactically given our spellcaster handicap in the given circumstances.
Okay.
Yeah. So it seems like we're gonna rush headlong in and then hopefully take a nap. Hurry up and nap. I don't know. Because we were pretty tapped on stuff.
That's
But
my new life motto.
Tap
Is hurry
out.
up and nap.
Oh, hurry up and nap, yeah.
it seems like with the runes disappearing, we kind of need to go in now, or kind of just might as well go back to Spira for more blood at this point.
I should
So
remind the group that corpses don't typically hold their blood for many, many days.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Which I asked, why didn't we put it in the hole?
Because
We've literally
somebody.
put everything else into the hole. But that
True.
one slipped our mind for some reason.
Yep.
You were all excited about your vials.
Well, his blood still would have coagulated inside his body.
Hey, there's magic for that.
There's magic for it.
It's true.
No one said it had to be liquid. We could have put like Jello into the bowl.
Oh,
Oh
gross.
my god. Now I'm just imagining red jello on a plate going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Gross. All right.
It just melts.
I'm gonna be the bummer of the group then, I guess, and say that we're probably not gonna figure this out in time. It's gonna go back in the earth, and we're gonna be like, well, there we go, and we're gonna do something else. I don't know that that's necessarily gonna happen. I'm just taking the opposite route of we're gonna fuck up, and it's gonna go back in the earth, and we'll have to do it again.
Okay, Al, without further ado, we'll pick up right where we left off. Does anybody else feel like we just played yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels so soon.
Yeah, okay. This is not just me. All right, so without further ado, picking up where we left off yesterday, the group finds themselves standing with the stunties just outside of what is presumed to be the tomb of the Twice King. And I did give you guys a little bit of a background so you can have an image there to look at it's thematically similar or close.
Neat.
Could we get the description one more time?
Yeah, let me find it.
Isn't it it's in the D&D chat, isn't it? Oh,
Well,
no,
those are-
not the description. That's just the riddle or whatever.
Well, the one
word,
that's in the
warning.
chat,
Yeah.
that's actually from the altar up on the top of the cliff.
Oh, that one's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As you reach the
Right.
great stone archway that you spotted from above, you realize it is actually a stone gate attached to a small white marble building naturally camouflaged in the snowy backdrop. The iron doors are sealed shut, and it looks as though someone used a powerful jet of flame or other magic to melt the seams of metal together. The door is covered in a myriad of strange symbols and icons, some of which the group recognizes either direct copies or strange perversions of the various holy symbols and etchery that you have encountered in your journeys. Many runes are etched into the edges of the door as well. At this point, a couple of them have faded. At your touch, glowing red text appears on the surface of the door with a single foreboding message, and you guys have cycled through all 3 of the messages. If you want me to repeat the messages, let me know.
I actually have them written down.
They were all melodramatic and saying "go away."
Mm-hmm.
I think we got the
No
gist.
solicitors.
They got a little. They started begging by the end.
Persons without at least 2 monarchies of experience need not apply.
Do not open until doomsday.
Okay.
Can I take a look at the quote unquote familiar etchings, and like in what way are they perverted from the
Just
way we've
like
seen them?
maybe certain things about them aren't quite right. So like Mordrak's holy symbol might have the 9 rune iconography, the 9 runestone iconography wrong. Like they might be in different patterns or orders, or like the spider might only have 7 legs, or it just for whatever reason they aren't quite right.
Okay.
And the ones specifically that were around the edge of the door are the ones that are lit and slowly fading to
Oh,
one side.
and well, that's so the icons on the door, like that are just on the door. Those are like just like various holy symbols and stuff. The runes around the door are like linguistic runes.
But none of us can read them.
Let me check. I have to look and see. I don't think so, because for some reason none of you guys have this language. No, none of you can read them.
Can any of the stunties read them?
Yeah, I was gonna.
Fizzle points out that he saw something similar when he was learning his magic, but he never asked his master to teach him because it wasn't magic itself.
Mm.
Do we
So
want to get
What?
the helm?
I thought you guys didn't have the helm anymore.
yeah, I feel like we gave it up.
I didn't think we did, because I thought we had this conversation and said that we didn't give it up.
Maybe you're right. If somebody can find
Oh.
it in their notes.
Yeah, check your inventories.
I've been using
It's
this
still in the-
inventory. I don't use the Google sheet anymore.
Yeah,
Just as a
Still
I
heads
has
up.
a
didn't think
Google
any of you
sheet,
guys
but-
were. I didn't think any of you guys were using Google anymore now that we moved to Fantasy Grounds and it has the pooled inventory. Homer, you were saying?
Never mind. I really
Alright.
don't remember for sure.
All right, can I get an int check from everybody in the group except Darby? Okay. Interestingly enough, it is Egg who seems to recall having seen very similar symbols, or at least 1 or 2 of the runes that are etched in the script that were worn. They were across, like, I'd say probably like the bottom of the cloak of Lautric.
Well, Egg will tell the others what he
Okay.
remembers.
Mm.
His magnificence.
So I take it nobody's tried just pushing or pulling on the door?
The stunties will let you know that they have tried many things, including Fizzle trying to cast the open spell,
Mm.
which he lets you know has never failed him before, as long as it was a doorway.
Mm-hmm.
He shivers once he says this. Will point out the fact that it looks like the doorway has been like melted shut.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Give me 1 second. I need to grab something off the couch. I
Mhm.
can probably still hear you, but I'll be right back.
Okay, so ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I know you probably don't have it prepared, Udinar, but you did stone shape at one point, right?
I have no spell slots, so unless it's
Okay.
Toll the Dead, I can't help you.
It Fair enough.
Or Light,
Um,
I can cast Light
Cool. Yep, that might be useful too.
at some point.
Is
At
there a
some
window?
point,
Can you shine the light through the window?
have we tried um
Saying hello?
Yeah, have we tried saying hello? That's true.
does somebody want to like walk around the building and just kind of investigate around and see, not that
Yeah,
there would be any
I'm
hidden
useless. I'll do
doors or
that.
anything like that, but
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Give me a perception check. And Pedalin, is there something that you're telling Udinar to look for?
another way in. Any signs of another entrance?
Okay. I will look for another entrance.
Sure. Udinar gives a thorough sweep of the area, not just walking around the building, but also climbing up one of the edges to see if maybe there's something on top. Unfortunately, however, it seems as though the building that was built around the entrance itself is more of a decoration and almost seems as though it was meant to blend in with the ruins of the battlefield around it. And it is indeed a solid barrier.
Okay.
Egg knocks on the door and says, "Hello."
Uh, Well, everybody hears Egg say hello, and the door
Mhm.
is a solid metal object, and you feel it as such whenever you knock on it.
Nice.
I don't think they're home.
Is there a way to unmelt the door so it is openable? I ask one of the mages.
I don't have anything that powerful.
Fizzle shrugs and points to the door, and like kind of runs his fingers along the runes and says, "If I were a betting man, I'd say it has something to do with these."
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I think I might be able to cast this still. Let me just check. No, I cannot. Never mind. All right.
Hmm.
Are any of the symbols on the door something that would be familiar specifically to Darby?
Mm, like the holy symbols?
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Yes. Uh, there is a symbol on the door that Darby encountered in New Erelon several times, specifically in a mountain range to the far northwest. Uh, in fact, that mountain range to the far northwest was a matter of almost like a white whale to your former employer. It's a pentagram inside and inside the pentagram is like an eye, but every time you ever encountered this, like an eye on a pedestal, and every time you encountered that symbol, it was viciously marred or crossed out or like otherwise mutilated or desecrated.
Okay. Are they in any specific orientation on the door?
It doesn't look like it. They almost look like they were just scribbled or haphazardly, you like forced into the door.
Hmm.
Chiseled. That's the word I was looking for. Carved.
Do I recognize any of them? If I go look?
I mean, you can literally pull out your cache of holy symbols
That's
that you
what I'm
found in
doing.
Spira and find each and every one of them on the door in some fashion or another.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Give me an insight check.
Okay. Including my own, by the way, while I look
Yeah.
this up.
No, not your own.
No, okay.
So, Udanar, the first thing, like you're just trying to get a general feel for it, and you notice as you're inspecting them all, like there's the usual hum from your medallion that hangs around your neck.
Yeah.
And what you might notice, like just as you're inspecting each of these, just trying to get a feel for maybe what the meaning was or what the purpose was of scribbling them all or carving them all into the door. You notice that your coin is only spinning on two of its three sides, and that specifically the lily is not showing itself. But other than that, based off of your own experience and your own intuition, you feel as though these are literally just symbols that somebody carved randomly into the door. Maybe it's just like hoping that it would assist in wording whatever they were trying to keep inside.
So I'm able to make the assumption these are pre-sundering gods symbols that somebody etched in here.
Yes. But you guys are also aware that the Twice King is not a pre-sundering figure.
Right.
Hmm.
Makes this a little
But
more
they would-
intriguing.
They would have just carved it there out of like superstition or blind hope.
Perhaps, yeah.
Can I do a like full sweep of the doors, looking for any like hidden crevices or receptacles or some sort
Sure.
of mechanism
Investigation. If you could critically fail skill checks. Well,
on the door?
you do your best looking for anything in the door, but whoever designed and built it did an excellent job of making sure that it was an airtight seal. There's no seam at the bottom. The only seam that existed was the one in the center between the two panels of the door itself, and it has been expertly welded shut. Gesundheit.
Well, this is a mighty fine door.
Yeah. So I'm gonna walk away and see if I can commune with something. If anybody has anything else, they can do that quickly.
Well, I'm beginning to think that. Well, my idea was always that we could use the bangle to open the door. So I guess I'll take out the bangle.
Okay.
And obviously, I mean, I don't know if I'm looking for a reaction for it to do anything or buzz or hum or flicker in light or anything like that. Obviously, Darby already searched the door to see if there was a crack or keyhole or anything like that that looked like it might fit something. So
Was the bangle still glowing?
No.
the trouble is that the Twice King, he was feared because of blood magic, right? But there's no reason to think that something like this would open a door with blood magic, you know? It seems kind of like the opposite of what someone who's trying to seal in the Twice King would do.
Well, the whole thing came out of the ground because of blood.
True. Good point. I
Too
mean,
bad we don't
that's...
have
Any
extra
more
blood.
Blood in the bangle.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Are we gonna put more blood in the bangle?
Well, that is our last vial, so unless, but I don't really see us getting anywhere else. The trouble is, I mean, the door's still welded shut. I mean, we could put the blood in the into the bangle, and it still may not do anything.
Well, what if it doesn't swing open? What if it lifts open or goes down?
Also true. Also, I don't know why, but I get the feeling that this like marble building is fake.
I was
Like,
gonna say,
maybe the
like,
door.
what if it's an illusion? Because he said that the open spell has never failed before on a doorway.
Yeah. I mean, sure, we
So
saw it
it'll be
raise out of the
fake
ground, but
But it sounds like they tried, like, literally pushing it and, like, interacting with it while we were doing the stuff. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I hope they at least tried to push it.
well, I did ask flat out if they.
You know what? I want to be sure. I'm going to go ahead and push the door.
Okay. The door resists you quite expertly, as you
Okay.
might have expected.
Okay.
And the floating red text appears on the surface of the door saying, "Turn back, forget what you have seen, flee this place, tell no one."
Okay.
Pedalin turns away from the door and tries leaning on it backwards.
As Pedalin touches the door, nothing happens.
Does the next message pop up?
No.
Ooh. Walking backwards through doors. That's how I do.
Hold on a
All
sec.
right, I need to test something.
Yeah, I need to
Oh.
test something as well. You go.
Well, oh, okay. Well, Darby, here, you hold the bangle and you lean backwards against the door like I did. And I'll step
But
away.
It's not glowing.
Well, just do it. I need to see if it's not glowing because I was holding the bangle or if it, was not glowing because I'm an elf. Partly.
All right, I'll follow the instructions.
So you lean against the door.
Mm-hmm.
While holding the bangle.
Are you holding the bangle?
She handed it to me, so yes.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Okay.
Aha! Okay.
I'm
Getting
going to take a rock of some sort and try pushing on the door again, but using the rock as, like, the point of impact rather than my hand.
Okay. Okay. You push a rock into a metal door. Nothing happens.
Does a text come up?
No.
Okay, I think it's reading our blood.
I think it's reading the bangle. Darby, can I have the bangle?
I kind of want to see... Damn it, I wish we had more blood to, like, put on our hands and then try opening it. We have one vial, and we can't waste it. Just in case.
Darby, give me the bangle.
I'm gonna hold the bangle and then like slap the door for the messages coming up, like I'm flipping through channels.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is it just cycling through the same ones?
Hold on. All right. So turn back for you. So it says you've been warned. Do not risk blah blah blah. Hold on. Are you say you're holding the bangle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just cycles through all three.
What language is it in?
Any language that you understand.
Okay. Nothing new ever pops up.
Nope.
Man, I'm wishing we had Valinus here now. Or like his hand or something. Just to test.
I mean, I did cut it off. I could have pocketed it.
I think we're getting that message because it's reading our like blood. And we're not
Try-
of the royal lineage.
We could try wearing the bangle.
But the
We're
bangle
told
doesn't
not
have
to
blood
put
in it.
on.
It's just a piece of like nothing right now. Like we need to
Yeah.
ignore the bangle, I think.
I thought we were specifically told not to put it on if we're not part of the same
Oh.
bloodline.
Yeah.
Who said that?
The gnomish jewel crafter.
Millennia from
Millennia?
Treetop. Yeah, she was the tinkerer.
Oh, I hope she got out. What happened to her?
We never saw
Hmm.
her again.
Oh.
I don't know that she necessarily survived the tidal wave
Or the fire.
or the fire
That's too
or any
bad.
of the other horrible things that happened to Treetop after we were there.
Yeah.
And you can see the burned tips of the trees of old Treetop from here.
So I give the bangle back to Catalin.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the vial of prince blood that I have.
Oh no.
Okay.
Gonna pop the top and just dip my finger in
Okay.
and then touch the finger to the door.
Turn back, forget what you have seen, flee this place,
Okay.
tell no one.
Okay, I think we kind of know now.
I'm gonna start writing "fuck you" with the blood, but it runs out halfway through the F.
So just
Yeah,
says,
yeah. Or C in this case, depending on how he writes his Fs.
who dares me to put the bangle on?
Good lord.
I
You're
mean,
like
have the one
wanting
that's
bad
so
shit to
dog.
happen to you?
You
If
don't
anyone's
seem to
gonna
have a
wear the
good
bangle, it
streak.
should be one of the Sundies.
You're right. We should
Should we
sacrifice
try
one of them.
putting blood in the bangle first?
I think that Darby's right. I think we probably try blood in the bangle and just
Okay.
we
Well-
we don't have any other ideas. So,
Okay.
Okay, we're putting.
but it's
blood in the
it's our
bangle.
last bit
Alright.
of blood, so it's either this or nothing, I suppose.
Okay.
The bangle begins to glow as it is filled with the prince's blood.
Who's wearing?
Okay. Holding the bangle, I press hard against the door to try and open it.
Like with your hand or with the bangle?
With my hand.
You have been warned. Do not risk all the peoples of this land for your greed.
I touch the bangle to the door.
Nothing happens.
I'm gonna shout at the door, and I'm
Your
gonna
shouts
say,
echo across the
I
battlefield.
didn't tell you what I was shouting yet.
All right, that's fine.
It's important. Gotta get it figured out here. I'm gonna yell at it that I am the heir of the Tomoina elf line and successor to the Twice King, and I command it to open.
Okay, and do you do anything or just shout that?
I shout it, and then I touch my
Uh,
hand to the door.
Leave. All will be forgiven.
Fuck
the tomb
you,
will return to
door!
the earth. After having shouted what you shouted and it echoes across the battlefield, all three of the stunties look at you with a look of really on their face. Like, You're descended from the Twice King? Is that why you're here?
Of course not. Look at me.
They all look at each other and shrug. We don't know anything about the Twice King except what we were told and what the legends say.
No, my father was a wood elf, not one of these fancy pants building underground tombs and shit.
So we've been putzing around for a few minutes. How many more have faded at this point?
Maybe one more rune has faded.
Can I pull out my abacus and calculate possibly how long we have left?
You
Yeah,
have an
give
abacus?
give me an intelligence check at advantage.
I like it.
It's gonna take you a few minutes to calculate, so I want to know if anybody else is doing anything while Darby whips out this crazy mechanical device of
I'm
his.
gonna see if I can
I-
talk to gods.
Okay.
No lie, I am super tempted to put this bangle on.
Technically,
Okay.
nobody's
If scenario,
stopping you.
get controlled by blood magic.
All right, Udanar, we're gonna go commune. What do you have to say
Okay.
as you step off to a quiet, serene location?
Yeah, I'm just gonna chill for a moment and think. I need some guidance, or on. I'm basically okay. I need guidance on whether or not we should continue down this path as it is.
The response you get is a simple one. It echoes in two voices at once, and they kind of say, "We don't understand."
Where's Ro?
We are one, they say.
Why will the third not confirm?
No response comes, but you get the feeling, rather, a feeling inside your just inside yourself that is, we are not beholden to answer your questions.
Mm-hmm. What knowledge do you have of these other symbols on the tomb and why they would be there?
Unfortunately, there is no presence there left to answer you. It seems they felt they were pressed too hard.
Okay. I don't like the fact that. Well, okay. I don't like the fact that the death domain is strangely quiet about this. I'm actually not sure we should even go through with this at this point. So,
You would have noticed the absence of the feeling of the death domain from the moment you entered the cave.
oh, that's even worse. Okay. I'll rejoin the group a little more disturbed than before.
Okay. Has anybody thought of anything in the meantime? Because I know Darby's calculating, and this probably took Udanar maybe all of 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna.
Egg
I'm
attacks
gonna-
the door.
Really?
Yeah,
Makes
With what?
sense.
it's white steel crozier.
Okay. There is a gong followed by a secondary follow-up clap as Egg slams the weighted end of one of the weighted ends of the crozier into the door. It sounds like metal on metal. The door is unscarred and unaffected.
Mm-hmm. That's what I figured. But that's what Egg would do.
Sure. Pedalin, did you have something?
I'm thinking. I'm just standing there staring at the door, trying to come up with ideas.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
wait a minute. The guy in the cave we got all those shoot, all the magic items off of him. Maybe he was a factor. So I'll pick
Okay.
up his musings and start flipping through it.
Mm.
Okay. So Pedalin is going to begin reading the journal. Unanar will return, and around the same time, Darby has concluded that you have approximately 6 hours before all of the symbols will fade.
So that is better than I was thinking, I will say.
I mean, math is not my strong suit, so give or
Well,
take 3 hours.
Give or take 3? Okay, well.
So a 50% chance of error.
You know what? I'll take it. 50%
I would
chance
say
is
that
better
Darby
than
probably feels a little more confident in his calculation.
I mean, it's probably right, but I shoot people. I don't count coins.
Okay, so since it seems like everybody else is out of ideas, we'll just kind of spend some time going over the contents of the journal. So, starting early, in the early pages of the journal, or where do you want to jump in? You just want to jump in right at the beginning?
Why not? We'll see. We'll see where we start, and if we need to skip ahead, we can.
All right, give me one sec to find my journal bits here. No, that's not it. Is it in here? Is it in here? Well, I found my basic notes for it, so that's what I'm going to give you. So, basically, the introductory is that Diedrich muses to himself as a factor that he stumbled across a rather interesting relic. It seemed to thrum with power, and it was anchored to the earth at a grave site. And, God damn it, why is it only that? Where's the rest of my stuff? Oh, here we go. So yeah, it was anchored to a gravesite, and so in taking it with him, he sought out one of the only beings that he knew that seemed to understand death, and that was the Death Singer. Um, and so he secured a time and place to meet with the Death Singer. And as they kind of pored over this relic and tried to understand what it did, they came to learn that it seemed to be a focus of true holy energy. And as Diedrich initially intended to pawn it off, it wouldn't, like, he felt himself unable to leave its side. And so eventually he relents and he takes it with him. And the rest of his journal is just like kind of going through his experience with it and how things begin to change, and how he a couple of times is sure he suffered a mortal wound, and as he slipped into unconsciousness, he simply awoke at a later time, healed. And eventually that reputation kind of got out, and he, that's where he kind of earned his name as Diedrich the Deathless. And his journal recounts each of his gruesome deaths as he begins to take more and more meticulous notes on them. And each time he dies, he recounts having more and more vivid visions of like a mothering figure standing over him, like taking care of him, or almost like his spirit. She was kind and thoughtful, and there were always lilies in these dreams. And after several years, he came to understand that this appeared to be what he believed was a brand new deity, the first deity to grace the land since the Sundering. And eventually he comes to understand that he is the chosen of this deity, just based off the thoughts and feelings that he has, and that he was selected by this deity to enact her will. And that's about as far as I'm going to let you go without spending a long rest or a short rest.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof. Well, I know where Ro is now, or at least why not much chatter.
Can I go off to the side and whisper to my gun?
Yeah, you can.
Sounds.
But first I want to ask, were you reading that out loud, Petalin, or to yourself?
No, I think I was reading that to myself.
Okay. And you pull out your gun.
Whisper sweet nothings to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to think how to word it.
As you pull the weapon out, you notice at first it is a limp noodle tentacle, but then it shifts back into its gun form. And a voice fills your head with laughter.
I'm not liking this new snarky thing you're doing. But do any of these symbols mean anything to you?
Fortunately for you, it doesn't matter whether or not you like what I'm doing. It's the other way around, you see. But what symbols? I wasn't paying attention.
I'm gonna walk back to the door
Hold
and
the
just
gun
hold
up
my
to the-
gun at the door.
Yes. So there's a moment where the simple answer of in your head is yes.
Care to elaborate?
What have you done for me lately?
I'm just gonna holster it.
Gods are a fickle bastard to talk to. I get it.
Speaking of gods, Udinar, what do you make of these notes here in this book? I'll kind of point out to him some of the lines where he's talking about the mothering figure with the lilies and whatnot.
Mm.
I'm gonna pretend like it doesn't mean anything to me.
It would seem your friend back in the cave liked the lilies about as much as you do.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps more even.
And here you are
I'm gonna
standing
walk
with
away.
us despite having been raised from the dead 3 times in the last fight.
All energy is gone. There's no
Okay.
spell slots. I've died multiple times. I'm not ready to talk to people currently.
Okay.
Well, I don't know how much this guy knew, but what I do know is it sounds like, Darby, you think that we've got enough time to take a little rest? Maybe regroup. Oh, pardon me. Try to recoup a little bit and come back with fresh ideas, and let's call it, maybe an hour.
I mean, we don't have a lot of time for the blood in the bangle.
We have a full day for the blood in the bangle.
Oh, okay. I forgot it was that long.
Perhaps we
Yeah.
can take some time to roll some dice and see if we can get healthier while doing so.
That doesn't sound like a thing that's possible.
Damn. Maybe
We
we
got a
will.
deck of cards off the body. We didn't get a set of dice.
Damn.
Now, speaking of which, we have, if we're going to take a short rest, we do have 3, 4, 5 new magic items we can spend a hot minute looking at through the short rest. Oh, excuse me. Does
Yep.
anybody care to take one specifically?
All I remember is cloak,
Cloak,
bag,
backpack,
cards.
deck of cards, sword, and pristine leather armor.
Yes. Sword, blade, backpack, deck of cards, cloak, leather armor. So, Egg, you take the sword blade. There you go.
Why would I take
Darby,
the
here's a
sword?
nice deck of cards for you.
Yeah, Egg. Why would Egg take the sword?
Why not? He's a
I
fighter,
don't use
right?
swords.
It's the one
Well,
thing
how
he
big of a
doesn't
sword
use.
is it?
I mean, I could use it, but I don't.
Oh,
Fine,
I see how
Darby.
it is.
Darby, you like stabbing things. Here's a sword blade for you.
It's a great sword blade.
Yeah.
So
Remember, we're just trying.
as like, are you guys whipping out the hole here?
No.
Okay, so then how are you handing these items when you
Well, I didn't. Did we
pushed
put
the
them?
sword and you put everything but the backpack into the hole?
True.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. we
Okay.
did.
Well, then probably best that we don't whip out the hole in front of the stunties. You're right.
Well, the stunties are getting antsy, and they're saying that if the if Darby's predictions are correct, and they've only got 6 hours, then they're like, we have to get in and out within 6 hours. We don't know how big it is. We don't know what's inside. We have to open this door. So you're welcome to go and rest and lick your wounds, even though remember you were provided with potions. But we're gonna stay here and try to get this open. And if we get it open, we're not waiting another hour for you.
Yeah, we might have to come back out within 6 hours. All right, who dares me to put on the bangle?
That's the second time you've asked that question.
I know. Well, I can't think of anything else.
So why are you asking to be dared?
So I can't use hit dice unless it's a short rest. I'm taking a short rest and using the potion in case I need it. So I'm taking a short rest, period.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put on the bangle.
Okay. You
What-
go ahead and do
Well,
that.
so Udinor is going to take a short rest.
Yeah. If you guys want to like get in, I'll join you in an hour, or whatever. I'm
What
not
if
going
you
in there
can't
without.
get in?
Well, then I don't. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'll be watching what you guys do. I'm not gonna like disappear for a short rest.
Well, no, yeah. Well, then here you can have, whilst you rest, you can have the musings of Dietrich.
Oh,
Pardon me,
great.
Diedrich, and you can read about your mutual love of lilies.
That's like talking to your girlfriend's ex. That's exactly what I want to read.
All
So
of
am
my
I getting
exes
this right? Are you guys choosing to split the party, which I'm about to say no to?
I
just
like,
wanted.
I
I
on-
just wanted to try and see if the bangle would work real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
Well,
we
it's-
haven't
it's not-
started the short rest yet. I'm literally trying one thing, and then
Okay. So what
Try
I'm
the
saying is
bangle.
like it sounds to me like you're trying to get the door open, and while somebody else is trying to rest. And if you get the door open while they're trying to rest, they're gonna keep resting.
well, give me 2 minutes to try the bangle
Try the
thing, and
bangle.
then we'll see if my arm falls off, or if I go into a blind rage, or whatever the hell else is gonna happen.
Try
to
the
me.
bangle. We'll go in. If I need to use a potion and then die, it's on you. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, quick prayer to Mordrak. Please let this work.
That's a
All
good
right.
prayer to Mordrak.
What?
I said
Please
that's a
let it
good
work.
prayer to Mordrak.
I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Paraphrasing. He knows what I mean.
No, I mean, like, honestly, that's a good one. He would like that.
Okay, cool. I have more confidence now. All right, so I'm going to put the bangle on my left wrist.
Okay.
Does anything happen to me?
You feel a warmth through that arm.
Oh,
You no longer
not,
exist.
that's not unpleasant though. Okay, I'm going to put both hands flat on the door and push it. Try to open it.
As you place your hands on the door, a new line of text appears. It says, "Would you subject your people to this darkness once again?"
Yes, already. Yes, I would.
As you say yes, the welded seam in the center crumbles, and there is now simply both sides of the door.
All right. What does a potion heal for? What is it? Superior, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
It should be in the item somewhere.
They are not. The only potion in the items is the base.
Really?
Yeah.
Potion of. I'm literally looking at potion of superior healing right here.
Oh.
Because it's in the
eight.
it's in the DMG. That's why you guys don't have access to the DMG.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, what is it?
8d4 plus
Okay.
8.
8d4 plus 8.
Who wants to go in now?
So 30. Not very good, but okay, it'll do. It helps.
That's better than average.
I know. Nice. There you go. Look at this guy. I don't think I even put that in my inventory last time, so I guess there's nothing to get rid of. Well, I still have 2 potions of healing for emergencies. All right, let's go.
The stunties jump up from where they were sitting and prepare to enter as well.
You're welcome.
I didn't say thank you.
I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the stunties. I think this bangle looks pretty good on me, too.
I'm angsty, mopey Udinar currently.
Okay. Onward and inward, as it were.
So you try to open the door.
Yes.
All right. As you push on the door once again, a 5th message appears that said, "Please present the key."
Oh, god damn it.
Shit. Do we have it? I don't think we have. I try pushing on the door again.
It goes back to turn back. Forget what you have seen. Flee this place. Tell no one.
Present the key.
But yes, it seems firmly locked.
I take off the bangle and present it to the door.
If the door had eyes, I'm sure it would tell you that it's a very pretty bangle.
Oh, fine. I'm going to put it back on then.
Okay, you feel that same warming sensation running down the arm.
It's nice because it's so cold out here.
Yeah.
Okay, key. Key. I don't suppose the stunties have any idea what the key would be.
Shiver says, "Hang on a moment," and she comes over to the door, and she kneels down and pulls out what looks to be a lockpicking kit,
Eh.
and sets to work. She says, "I'm surprised none of you are able to do this."
Whatever.
In some factors, you are.
Got a point.
After maybe 10 seconds or so, you hear a very heavy hissing thud, and the door begins to creak inward slightly. And she steps back and gestures to the door and very flatly says, "Ta-da."
Oh, fuck. I'm nervous about going in there. All right. Lead the way.
All right.
Darby
Who-
walks in first,
Okay. Perception
And-
check from everybody else, please.
turns to Shivers and says, I could have done that.
Udanar is the only one to notice that as soon as Darby slips through the threshold, several of the runes that were previously lit blink out.
I guess it no longer
Madeline-
cares about a timer since, you know, it's open.
Petalin follows after Darby.
Yep.
Uh,
Did you?
Okay.
Yes.
So after Petalin steps inside, even more of the runes blink out. Only about half the runes are still lit. A little bit less, I would say.
Okay. I stop the stunties and say, it looks like only this group gets to go.
I'm sorry, what?
I just gesture to the runes.
Ned says, "Aye, and it looks like 2 have gone in, and 2 more can go. Why not split it like we agreed?"
I look over at Egg. I'm waiting for your opinion, Egg, because as far as you can tell, I'm ready to not go in here. So, what do you have to say?
Well, I'll leave it up to the dwarf to decide if he wants to bring me along or if he'd rather bring one of his compatriots. Thinks would be a better fighter in there.
So I want to be clear as the GM.
Yeah.
It looks like only 2 more can go in.
Yeah.
If you don't go in, you will not be participating.
No, I am
I don't
very
want to
aware
have
of
to have
this.
somebody sit.
No,
Yeah.
I'm very aware.
All right.
I was seeing
so-
if maybe he could smooth things over. So
Sure.
after he says
if,
that,
if he wants to,
I'm going to look at the
Well,
dwarf and say sorry next time, and I'll walk in.
I'll
the
run
dwarf
after him.
holds up his hand after Egg runs in, and so now that everybody is standing inside what is mostly pitch blackness, you hear like thundering pounding on what sounds like a door or barrier from the outside, almost like somebody's banging on something and the sound is traveling through water. If you look behind you, you'll realize that there is no door. It is simply a sealed wall.
I'm going to cast light on my shield and say, I hope you're right about this.
All right. The last thing you hear before the sound cuts out entirely is, "You'd better honor your agreement. We're expecting half." And then we're all going to take a 10-minute break so I can feed my dog and go pee. And then we'll pick up where we left off.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
All right.